Imagine being betrayed by your own brothers, sold into slavery, and then rising to become the second most powerful man in the world. That's the story of Joseph, a tale of divine providence, resilience, and forgiveness. As you join me with the diving into the cultivating stories of the Bible, as I uncovered shocking details about Joseph's journey, remarkable faith, and how his life was intricately woven into God's greater plan. Stick around, click in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to Bible Story. What makes Joseph stand out the biblical narrative is just his place in the lineage of Abraham, or as one of the many sons of Jacob, but rather the unique grace that God bestowed upon him. The special favor distinguished upon Joseph, which was one of the patriarchs in the Bible. This special favor was distinguished from his brothers, which made him memorable and figured in the family history. His brothers were keenly aware of his distinction, and the results of the feelings towards Joseph were marked by jealousy and resentment. Genesis chapter 37. The favoritism
Jacob
was
lived in the
clear
land where his
when
father
Joseph was
stayed in the land
given
of
a
Canaan, and
coat
this is
of
the
many
account of
colors.
Jacob's family
The robe
line.
became a symbol of
Joseph, a
Joseph's
young man at
unique
17,
symbol of
was
the
tending the
family,
flock
and
with
this
his
sparked
brothers, the
great
son of
tension between him and his
Balaha and the
brothers.
son of
While the robe
Zephalah,
was an
his
outward
father's
sign of his
wives,
favorite
and it brought
status,
their
the
father a
deepest
bad
source of the
report about
conflict
them.
lay
Now
in
Israel
the
loved Joseph
dreams
more than
that
any of his
Joseph
other
had.
sons, because
Jacob loved Joseph more than his other sons. And Joseph was the firstborn of the beloved wife Rachel. This favoritism was made clear. We were binding sheaves of grain out of the fields when suddenly my sheaves rose and stood upright. Your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down. His brothers said to him, "Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us?" And they hated him the more because of his dream and what he said. Joseph was explaining to his brothers about how he saved many from starvation. Rather than seeking revenge to his brothers, Joseph saw God's providence in every step of his journey. He embraced the brothers, weeping with them, and instructed them to return to Canaan to bring their father and the rest of their family to Egypt. Pharaoh, hearing of Joseph's reunion of his brothers, offered them the best land in Egypt for the family to settle. Joseph sent his brothers back to Canaan with wagons and provision. And when they told Jacob that he was alive and ruler of all Egypt, Jacob was overwhelmed. He said, "I am convinced my son Joseph is still alive. I will go and see Joseph before I die." When Jacob arrived in Egypt, Joseph met him with tears of joy. It was a deeply emotional moment, the combination of years of separation, pain, and uncertainty. Joseph introduced Jacob to Pharaoh, who welcomed Jacob and his family and gave them the best land in Egypt.